he learned long ago, and he told his friends this: you don't bet on college basketball, because he watched a Pitt team take down Kentucky years ago, and from that he learned never bet on it, guys.
He said he wasn't surprised. It's the start of the season. Teams figuring out who they are. We'll figure out these two teams as we have tipped off.
Off we go from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Right out of the gates, Christian Keeling. Guy they would love to get going. You talked about the pieces around Cole Anthony these first couple of games. Gardner-Webb 0-2 so far. A loss in the opener at home against a good Furman team, and then lost on the road on Saturday at Western Carolina. Nate Johnson off target.
A lot of times you see a lesser opponent come in and play fast, playing outside of their comfort zone. A slow possession, a patient one out of the gates for Gardner-Webb. Didn't result in what they would have liked.
Anthony had it poked away by Nate Johnson on the run out, and he gets stripped by Anthony. The Tar Heels, as always, want to run. Anthony's floated. Left it short, and it stays with Carolina.
The Tar Heels, as always, want to get the ball to Cole Anthony as well, because special things happen. But the question will be moving forward, those other four guys in that starting lineup, learning to play alongside Cole, and that's really easy because he's a selfless star.
And we talked about injuries. One guy they do have the services of tonight, Armando Bacot, who has it right now. 5 in the white. Was evaluated for a concussion on a blow he took to the head last Friday at Wilmington. Shot clock below 10. With Johnson on Cole Anthony. Tough jumper. Offensive rebound, and Garrison Brooks had it pried away. Good hands so far defensively from Gardner-Webb.
Gardner-Webb team that forces 15 turnovers a game, small sample size, but they have active hands, drive off deflections.
Eric Jamison Jr. drives. Loose ball goes to Ludovic Dufial. Jaheim Cornwall back iron, and Garrison Brooks clears it.
Again, that early pursuit of early offense, Cole pushing the tempo. Guys got to run with it, and they'll be rewarded.
On the inside, it's Armando Bacot to start the score.
And it wasn't the initial thrust that got you to strike in the basket, but pushing that tempo, the defense on their heels, advantage Tar Heels, and they deliver a basket.
And what did Roy Williams say to us at shoot-around today? We got to get the other guys running with Cole Anthony. We know all about his defensive rebounding so far.
Yeah, and especially guys who maybe aren't as gifted scoring in the half court. How do you get easy ones? Rim runs. A gifted point guard will reward you.
Traveling called on Jose Perez before the contact with Cole Anthony.
You love on-the-ball defense, help side defense most especially. And when it comes from your star, it feels that much better.
Brooks, high-low and a turnover. Second one for Carolina.
Garrison Brooks just needs to slow down. He got the offensive rebound and moving too fast, allowed the deflection to come. Be strong, be confident with the basketball, deliver the high-low, and you got a seamless conversion.
You saw Bacot, you saw Brooks. They like going with that more traditional two-big lineup that Roy Williams oftentimes does like using through the years. This is Cornwall, one of a couple of point guards you will see for Gardner-Webb tonight. Off his shot fake. Kick out for Jamison. Anthony the rebound.
Disciplined defensively from the Tar Heels. Gardner-Webb working it through the clock. Carolina giving up no advantages, staying attention to detail.
Pick and roll. Bacot, good footwork. And then Jamison got his hand on it, and it goes back to Gardner-Webb. A pretty good start, all things considered, at least on the defensive end for Tim Kraft in his 7th season at the helm. Took them to the program's first NCAA tournament last year.
23 wins last year for that team. A lot of people return in bigger elevated roles, no question, but when you experience that kind of winning, it bleeds over and you earn some sort of momentum. But it's a Gardner-Webb team looking for their first win this season.
Tim Kraft was here as an assistant when Gardner-Webb played in 2005. Great defensive work by North Carolina to earn back possession.
Cole Anthony showing you a little bit more. He's taking a charge in this game. He gets beat here, but stays with it resilient. He's made 3 standout defensive plays here before the first media timeout.
He rises. Too strong. Remember, he was off target on his first couple of shots against Notre Dame before things really took off, in particular in that second half. High-low again. And good weak side help by Jaheim Cornwall sends us to a timeout. Over 4 minutes and only 2 points thus far.
Support your favorite college at Fanatics.com. The largest assortment of officially licensed fan gear for more than 500.
Remember, all season long, right here on ACCN, all access with Carolina basketball, about a week and a half away from episode number 2, and you can learn a lot about this guy.
Saw the first episode, excited for the second one. It's access that you just typically don't see from college programs, let alone one like North Carolina. And it helps when you got arguably the best player in the land that you're documenting in Cole Anthony. You get to learn the stories of these kids. Coach Williams really lets you peek behind the curtain. It's must-see TV, I'm telling you.
Well, and we had fun going behind the curtain with Roy Williams today, talking about his star in Cole Anthony, as Nate Johnson gets the first points for Gardner-Webb nearly 5 minutes in.
And you get this all season long, by the way, so you'll get a nice dose of what this team's about, one that I expect to do special things this season.
Justin Jenkins on the baseline drive. And one of the questions we asked Roy Williams today is he the best point guard you've been around? Because Hubert Davis was talking about that. That's a blocking foul that goes on Christian Keeling.
Yeah, Coach Williams was quick to tell us, kindly, of course, pump the brakes a little bit. This guy's played 2 games right now. I know I have a special talent. And Coach wasn't worried about guarding against an ego, because there is no ego with Cole Anthony. Another thing that makes him unique. What he was wondering is, I don't want to build it up so much that it's pressurized. We've seen 2 games. Let the young man play out this freshman season.
And he's been off to a great start so far. The wins, of course, over Notre Dame and then on the road at UNC Wilmington, as you see Justin Pierce check in. He had a double-double in that win Friday. Kareem Reed, the freshman from Queens, converts on both.
And right now, it's advantage Gardner-Webb 5 minutes into the contest. Carolina has not been able to run. Carolina has not established an interior dominance. Carolina is not beating them up on the back.
Well, Pierce on the interior missed it off the glass, and then again, Gardner-Webb scraps to the loose ball with Jamison.
Watch how Gardner-Webb makes Carolina work defensively in the half court, unless there's an advantage.
Poked away, and Keeling saves it near his bench. 3 turnovers for the Runnin Bulldogs. Anthony hangs and draws a foul. Well, we touched on this earlier. Tim Kraft, in building his program with some of these guys, they're familiar with ACC teams. This is just last year. You mentioned the wins that they have, and then they were up by 14 on Virginia. That was the biggest deficit Virginia had faced all year.
And that's a national champion in Virginia, so it shows you that they don't worry about the name on front of the jersey. Those wins versus Wake Forest and Georgia Tech, look, I know those weren't tournament teams last year, but they were on the road in ACC environments. Those aren't Big South opponents. So this team is coming in here in Gardner-Webb saying, why not us? We watched Evansville and Rupp Arena. We knew what we could do in the first half versus Virginia. And of course, those wins versus Georgia Tech and Wake Forest.
And then on the flip side of things, right when that Evansville-Kentucky game ended this week, the UNC players, their group chat, it started buzzing, and they said, guys, here's what's happened to Kentucky this week. We cannot allow that. We've got to tighten things up.
Oh, so group chats can't be productive.
You mute them all.
Absolutely not productive in any way, shape, or form.
That's why I haven't been getting any texts back from Jordan Cornette all week.
Come on, man. Me and you.
You're getting the lay of the land in Chapel Hill today?
I would never, ever not acknowledge your text. We had a great meal today. We'll talk about that later, too.
There's the pressure. UNC out running, and Brooks slamming it home. Perez got shaken up on the backside of that.
Vintage Carolina. Little stop, make sure everybody's okay. Let the dust settle and get back to the action. But Carolina in the open floor. If they can generate enough of those opportunities, they will flourish tonight, and they will flourish all season long.
Another trap near half court. Perez off his shot fake for Jenkins. Yes! Big time shot for Jenkins, the senior from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Big time play from Perez. Suck in the defense, make them commit like a magnet, kick out to an open three-point shooter.
That's what Tim Kraft said to us today. He doubled down on it multiple times. He said, you got to watch how good a passer Perez is. And then Anthony gets the roll.
Cole Anthony starting to come into his here. Generating some winning plays offensively, see the ball go in the basket, get his guys involved, then he starts to heat up.
Perez can post up smaller guards. He faces up, left the jumper short.
Gotta run.
Anthony does so. Foot on the gas pedal, took the contacts, and draws a foul on Turner.
Carolina running. Active hands, a trap. Deflection leads to a steal. And it gets you an easy one on the other end. Then Cole Anthony cutting up the defense. When he gets his feet in the paint, beautiful things happen. And now you're starting to see some life and a rhythm with this Carolina team. But ironically, it starts with the defense that opens up the open floor.
Defense was a topic Roy Williams brought up with us today. He said, look, I don't know for sure if we're going to be good on the defensive end. We have the ability to get there, but it remains to be seen.
It's all about desire. You've got the athletes. You've got the personnel. Long, athletic, explosive. No reason for them not to be great defensively. But there's some young pieces. There are some pieces in elevated roles. So learning how to be effective on that end. But you got to have the want to.
North Carolina by 2, and Brooks extending pressure on Dufial.
You don't need it. Garrison Brooks is in great defensive position right there. You have the advantage with size and length. Don't need to get cute and try and get the deflection there. Like what you're trying to do to generate more energy. But be patient defensively. You're in great position.
Perez had to get that in dangerously to find Christian Turner. Lance Terry has come in, freshman guard. Shot clock below 10. Turner drives and scoops it in.
It's the toughest time to defend when the shot clock is winding down. You lose interest, you lose attention to detail in a blowout.
Andrew Platek can't connect. Loose ball, Turner's on the ground for it. And a stoppage at 11:57.
It's a Gardner-Webb team that won't go away. It's all even here. They've got to fight. Come on back. We'll see what happens right here. Everybody wants a loose ball. Gardner-Webb with the conversion.
Team and the number 4 men's team in a college basketball doubleheader here on ACCN. Sabrina Ionescu and top-ranked Oregon squaring off with number 20 Syracuse at the Dome, 4 p.m. Eastern. That game followed by the 4th-ranked Louisville Cardinals in a showdown with Akron. Will be on hand for that. Both games right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. 5 turnovers now for Gardner-Webb coming out of the timeout.
And if Carolina can turn those into live ball turnovers, get them leak outs for some easy baskets, continue to find that rhythm, because as you watch Carolina in the half court currently, they're struggling to find an identity outside of Cole Anthony.
And it is Leaky Black handling the point guard duties with Cole Anthony getting a breather. Christian Keeling walks with it, and that's 4 Carolina turnovers.
Christian Keeling playing a little fast, had an idea of what he wanted to do, but before his body could catch up, and that's when you see those shuffling the feet turnovers. It's going to slow down. For guys that are playing in an elevated space, Christian Keeling in a North Carolina uniform, this is a new challenge, but Keeling's had success against Gardner-Webb, so he knows this opponent. Slow down.
Jaheim Cordwell sticks a 3, junior from Brooklyn, who hit 39% from beyond the arc last year. And then thrown away by Justin Pierce. Perez hoists. Left it well short. North Carolina is running. You said it earlier, who creates when there's no Cole Anthony? If he's not scoring, or in this case, when he's on the bench. Tough shot for Leaky Black. Spins out.
And a challenge is when you take a contested shot like that, your offensive rebounders aren't in pristine position for second chance opportunities.
Midway through this first half, it's Gardner-Webb by 3. They can't add to it with Jamison.
Bacot's got to find a way to get down on that low block and post up a little bit. As a freshman, that's always a slow uptake for guys to gain that confidence playing on a low block. But Bacot has to give them something on the interior.
Foul underneath on the rebounding action goes against Jose Perez with Cole Anthony set to return. And this was the first game, and it showed the importance of Cole Anthony when he's on the floor.
And this is the 2-game storyline of North Carolina right now. With Cole Anthony, this team can go very far. But aside from Cole Anthony, what do you have? Garrison Brooks has shown well in 2 games. Justin Pierce as well. But what are going to be those consistent performers alongside this bona fide star?
There's Bacot. You wanted him down on the block. He misses, but the tap is good to bring Carolina within 1.
Because you take a good shot on the low block. Bacot carves out some real estate, takes a high percentage shot, misses, but offensive rebounders in position to clean it up.
First 2 for Justin Pierce. How about the follow by Kareem Reed getting nudged in the back? The big freshman from Queens.
Coach Kraft, very high on this freshman. Got that Queens mentality. Everybody watching the basketball. Who's blocking out? Who's getting the body on Reed? Makes it pay.
You go to the NCAA tournament, you start to get a bump in recruiting. They saw that with Reed, who was a late signee in the spring. Highest rated recruit to sign with them in some time.
That's why this is a Gardner-Webb team that boasts the best recruiting class coming in next season, because they've started to open the floodgates with some of these guys.
This is as large as the lead has been. Playtech spots up. Too strong. And North Carolina is 0 of 6 from beyond the arc.
That's good offense. Pierce commands a double team, swing pass, wide open look. Playtech's got to punctuate.
No roll for Jamison on a pretty high percentage shot.
And you ask that for Playtech, a guy who for his career has averaged 5 minutes per game, suddenly in an enhanced role is playing 27 minutes per game. It's a whole new world.
Bacot underneath, got it from Pierce.
Become the master of around the rim. Simplify the tool set. Rim runs, second chance opportunities, loitering on the low block, and watch those numbers balloon for Bacot.
Well, you play with a guy who draws so much attention in Anthony, it'll just generate chances for you. Johnson on the baseline, nice floater.
Selfish defense for Playtech. Looking to block a three-point shot, gets up in the air, blow by on the closeout, high percentage floater.
The lob from Black, and it finds Armando Bacot. The freshman's got a half dozen.
Where was he? Right around the rim. Listen to that.
Look, don't tell me, tell Bacot, tell your boy. 2-point game here as we tick under 8 left in the first half. Jamison lost it. Anthony lays it in. Timeout, Gardner-Webb.
Defense getting him back in the open floor. Cole Anthony. Cold-blooded.
Do you use sleep equipment? Did you know manufacturers
Back in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where we had to learn pretty quickly the camera is always watching. You had to have your head on a swivel. We got bombarded by the football crew coming by. Wes, Eric, and Roddy swinging by, making the Tobacco Road doubleheader.
Yeah, they'll be in Durham tomorrow for the Duke football game as Syracuse looks to get their first conference win. Let me tell you this. Wes Durham can go anywhere he wants in this building. The son of the legendary Woody Durham, who was the voice of the Tar Heels for 40 years. The Durham family rings bells, so Eric Wood and Roddy Jones along for the ride. And those guys, they'll get the red carpet treatment here.
A turnover for Gardner-Webb, and then after that game in Durham, it's Louisville, NC State, our ACC and primetime matchup presented by Geico.
Mike, I'm going to tell it to you like this. For a Carolina team, it's only generated 17 points in nearly 13 minutes of play. You know what their best offense is? Their defense. They got to continue to be active, turning this opponent over, using that for momentum to get out in space and run. Cole Anthony drive and kick or drive and score at the rim. That's how this team can produce offense.
Trying to create here in the half court, and they go to the freshman again, Armando Bacot. He's got 8.
Bacot showed well versus Notre Dame in the first game of his career in a Tar Heels uniform. Got injured in that second game versus Wilmington, and now he's back, he's healthy, and he's got some confidence with early baskets around the rim, now showcasing what he can do with the ball.
Yeah, played fewer than 3 minutes due to both foul trouble and then being evaluated for that concussion. But another 3 goes down. That's Justin Jenkins, and Gardner-Webb's got 3 triples. Playtech can't respond.
That's a microcosm of where this team is at right now. Cole Anthony, in early offense, finds a perfect look for a shooter. Playtech just can't seem to connect.
Bacot altered the shot of Jenkins underneath, and Black pushes. Playtech, nice job with the body control.
That's why I love Leaky Black. And that's why I love Leaky Black. The guy is not going to put together a stat sheet that makes you go, wow, what a superstar. He ain't going to make the highlights, but he does the little things. In transition, extends that ball out to Playtech to get an easy 2. High IQ ball.
And easy to love with a name like Leaky Black. Yes, by the way, Puff Johnson did sign his letter of intent earlier this week. Cam's younger brother, set to be a Tar Heel himself. There's that lob again for Bacot. Tried to go up with the second effort, got stripped, and it does stay with the Tar Heels.
Okay, we've talked enough about the superstar that's Cole Anthony. They've got another big-time freshman, Armando Bacot, right there, the spin to win. Great touch around the basket. A high-level athlete who's long and can elevate, has earned himself a breather, and an applause from the crowd.
He checks out as Brandon Huffman replaces him. Anthony, got it, over the top of Nate Johnson. North Carolina had missed its first 7 3-point attempts until that one. Dufial blew a tire, and Jamison cuts it back to 2. Johnson picks off the pass, and we are tied.
Careless with the ball. And now you're at a disadvantage defensively. Huffman doesn't move too well. Putting him in ball screen exchanges, the dive guy can have the world because he can't recover with how poorly he moves.
Huffman banging in the pick and roll game at the other end. Shot clock under 10. Now it's Anthony that wants a ball screen. Johnson's been draped all over him today. Jamison took the bump, No bucket.
On contact. Bad decision from Leakey right there.
Anthony out of the corner. And a battle on the boards, and the foul goes against North Carolina.
It's a Carolina team that's really trying to push it to make things happen. Push it in transition. Look, that's what coach asked for, and that's where they're at their best. But understanding, when you get there and you don't have it, play fast, but don't hurry. And this team is starting to hurry a lot to try and make things happen. Let it come to you.
It was just over a minute that Brandon Huffman was in before Roy Williams felt like he needed to get Bacot back on the floor. And it's going back to North Carolina on the other side. Freshman with 18 of the 24 Tar Heels points so far.
And when you can't find a way to get offense, you gotta call in the wolf. The guy who can fix the problems. Number 2, number 1 in Tar Heels fans' hearts.
Elite soldiers depend on night vision binocular.
Debate in our household, is Will Smith better in Aladdin, or is Robin Williams better as the genie in Aladdin?
If you were wondering why we were talking about shining, shimmering starts early on, Whole New World, yeah, we were just getting you in the mood for that earlier today.
I have to connect the dots for our fans. It's a highbrow audience. They understand. Things don't go over their head.
Jordan Cornette, Mike Monaco, our ACC and crew with you. Tied at 24, Gardner-Webb, an NCAA tournament team last year out of the Big South, one of the favorites in that conference against number 6 North Carolina. This is Leaky Black. Christian Keeling on the scoop to the basket, his first points.
Fantastic decision making from Keeling. Keeling did have a three-point look. So a good shot pursued, a great one, a driving lane and a path to the rim.
They haven't even got any points from this guy, their leading scorer, Jose Perez. Cornwall, no. Bacot battled for it, and he draws a foul on Kareem Reed.
Love the activity from the big fella Bacot. Locks in on the block out, then goes and attacks the basketball to earn the respect of the whistle right there. Love the fight from that young man as, again, he gets a breather probably until the half.
Sean May, who of course is on staff with North Carolina, he was telling us pregame that Bacot can really run the floor as well. That's one of his best traits.
And Coach Williams is going to recruit bigs that can run the floor. He likes to play 3 out, 2 in, but he wants those bigs to be able to change ends and play with this transition style.
Anthony had it taken away by Kareem Reed, the big man on the run out himself, and he draws a foul. How about 6'9", 205 coming right at you?
It's 8 turnovers for Carolina. They got to settle in, do a better job of valuing the pill.
Foul was on Leaky Black. That's his first. Best minutes of the young career so far, 3 games in for Kareem Reed. Hey, the huddle with Jack Collinsworth, Eric McLean, E.J. Manuel, and the coach, Mark Rick, get you set for this weekend slate of ACC games. 5 games tomorrow involving ACC teams. Of course, great one last night, went to overtime. Pitt beating North Carolina. It starts tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on ACCN and the ESPN app.
Oh, man, Eric McLean and E.J. Manuel aren't going to be happy that graphic didn't have their headshots. They like FaceTime.
Or their basketball highlights from Cameron Indoor last weekend.
Yeah, those are my guys, man. Show me a group along with Coach Rick and Jack that has more fun on a football Saturday. It doesn't exist.
Wasn't it Coach Rick hitting a free throw with his eyes closed?
Called it, too.
Leaky Black, eyes open, misfired. Does stay at this end with 2:06 left in the half.
3-point line, not kind to the Tar Heels. 10%, 1 of 10. And I'm telling you, they've been some good looks from beyond the arc. This team just has not developed into becoming confident shooters. They have the capable personnel, just can't get it going.
Man, they had shot it well from deep. Of course, so much of that in the first 2 games was from Cole Anthony. Brooks spinning, drew a foul on the fadeaway. So if you are Tim Kraft, the head coach for Gardner-Webb, you've got to be overjoyed by what you see on the bottom left of your screen. Your best player, potential conference player of the year, hasn't scored. You're down 1.
We talked about the depth of Carolina, how it's also been tested with injury, but the depth of Gardner-Webb has come to the forefront. Production from their bench, production from their role players. 6 guys have scored in this first half and scored a few baskets, so they're getting it from a lot of different people.
Harrison Brooks is good on both. Small sample size, but he has been much better at the free throw line so far now in his junior season. The shot clock started to tick. Jose Perez realized that. Valuing every second here of his chance to play in Chapel Hill.
Typically in a matchup like this, the team in the Gardner-Webb jersey is usually like, let's run this clock out. Yeah. Let's get to the half. But Gardner-Webb out here competing, making this a game.
Justin Pierce wanted an over and back. Instead, it's Johnson firing from the corner. And the loose ball to Leaky Black.
Got to get it down low to Brooks. He's got good. He's fighting on the low block. Find a way to get it to him.
Anthony goes around him. Couldn't muscle it up, and Johnson the loose ball.
Don't like the decision from Anthony. Thought he should have fed the big fella who was working to find some post position. Keep your big guys involved, especially ones as capable as Brooks, who can get you a basket.
Perez has the size advantage on Keeling, and he scores with the left hand his first points.
Beautiful spacing. That was one-on-one basketball. Perez commanding an entire side of the floor. Help side could not come and deliver.
Tough one to catch for Pierce, who is upset with Keeling, and that is 9 Carolina turnovers. Dufial got free. There was some grabbing behind him, no call. And now Keeling finishes.
A response-savvy decision from Anthony. And of course it comes in the open floor where Carolina thrives.
About a 2-second difference between game and shot clocks at the end of this first half.
An opportunity to tie it here. Wouldn't be surprised if they get the second inside the arc at the rim.
Here comes the trap. Johnson. Too strong.
That time.
Anthony, 2 seconds. Had it poked away, no foul. And that closes down the first half here at Chapel Hill.
On the push, Keeling running with their star and is rewarded with the basket. For a team that can't seem to consistently find it in the half court, you have to be as aggressive as possible in pursuit of open floor opportunities.
Well, it has been quite the atmosphere here inside the Dean Dome so far in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Number 6. Couple of wins already this year for the Tar Heels, getting everything they can handle so far from Gardner-Webb. We'll see what Cole Anthony has in store. Our halftime report starts on the other side. Leading scorer is the sensational freshman Cole Anthony. He's got 10 so far. We've got a good one to this point in Chapel Hill as we welcome you back to the Dean Dome. Jordan Cornette, Mike Monaco with you. Jordan, why is it so close so far?
Well, this is a Gardner-Webb team that's coming out here. They've been scrappy. They've been active defensively. They've been competing. That's all you can ask for the underdog. As for Carolina, the question is, when is this offense going to find its rhythm? Well, for one, we're only 3 games in. But you're learning that without Cole Anthony, it gets a little tough to watch at times. It's because these are elevated pieces. What they need to do is establish the inside. 1 of 10 from 3, 9 turnovers. Play through the inside, slows the game down, help you find a rhythm.
20 more minutes coming up. You can watch a lot of the Tar Heels on ACCN this year. You can also watch them and go behind the scenes with all access with Carolina basketball. Here's a behind the scenes look.
On game day, I usually do get a little nervous. be a great competitor tonight. You've got to be enthusiastic, you've got to be into it. It's amazing to me. I mean, it's only 32 years since head coach, first time I ever opened the season with a conference game like this, right? It counts.
When I put on a Carolina jersey, it's a different feeling. I mean, it's pretty much, it's surreal.
And a 6'3" freshman guard from New York City, number 2, Cole Anthony.
He is every bit as good as they said he was.
Yeah, I'm blown away. He can score, he can defend, he can rebound. We saw him get 11 boards, he can assist.
Cole is going to have to pretty much put this team on his shoulders, and he's up to the task, no question about that. When you go out and drop 34 in your debut, he's going to have 10 defensive eyes and probably 2 people guarding him pretty much every time he gets the basketball across half court looking for him.
When I hit, I don't know if I hit like 2 or 3 threes in a row, but at that point, I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling pretty damn good. Excuse my language. I really just want to give all the credit to my team. I mean, they found me, they got me open looks, I hustled, and I just, something clicked.
Coming up again about a week and a half from now, and it's pretty special, Jordan, when the stars align like that. You got a good centerpiece in Cole Anthony.
And that's the thing. You get to get inside the mind and the everyday grind of who could be the first pick in the NBA draft. He's that kind of good. You see the journey. I mean, right now, you got a Carolina team a possession ahead of Gardner-Webb. You're going to watch the growth of this Carolina team throughout the season. It's going to be fun to watch. And we talk about Cole Anthony, the legend he may become. You've also got the legend of Roy Williams, the coach, and watch him manage the squad. It is all access indeed, and you only get it on ACC Network. It's really cool.
Well, they all have a fight on their hands right now through the first half here at the Dean Dome in Chapel Hill. A lot of fun in this atmosphere, but right now, Gardner-Webb giving everything the Tar Heels they can handle so far.
My son needs.
First half so far, though, Jordan. Talk about a three-point game, and Gardner-Webb just hangs around despite some turnovers.
Yeah, this is a team that is active, and they're making it uncomfortable on Carolina and half court. This is not an offensive juggernaut for this Carolina team. There's a heavy reliance on Cole Anthony, and that's become the idea defensively. Okay, we know what Cole's going to give him. Who else is going to beat us? So Cole is trying everything he can to make winning plays, but some of the shots he's been forced with having to take have been tough ones. But this team is truly elite in pursuit of open floor opportunities. Guys are going to have to knock down shots. Defenses are going to hone in on that star and Cole. What are the other guys going to do? On the other side, though, how about Nate Johnson and his work right here? A shooter, built to be a guy that could hurt you from beyond the arc, hasn't hit a three, has done his damage playing downhill, perpetual attack mode for number 10. Johnson has been the go-to for a balanced scoring attack for this Gardner-Webb team currently.
And you look at the stats from the first 20 minutes. We've had 22 combined field goal makes. We've had 18 combined turnovers.
Yeah, and it's been sloppy. And because it's been sloppy, Gardner-Webb has taken full advantage of that. That's what Gardner-Webb wanted. They wanted a grinded-out game, no real rhythm, trying to eliminate too many opportunities for Carolina to get out and run. Those turnovers have allowed Carolina some of it, but those misses, you're seeing Gardner-Webb get back ready to defend.
And we've got a three-point game. Gardner-Webb on the third college game for Cole Anthony, his second here at home inside the Dean Dome. Three-point game as we gear up for the start of this second half. Jordan Cornette, Mike Monaco, our ACCN crew back with you. Looking at the top 9 in the ACC preseason poll. You said this earlier. Duke got a first half test from Georgia State. Now we got a three-point game.
Yeah, and you're looking at teams there, and I do think there's an upper class, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. From there, those other teams can surprise and become tournament teams. The one I really like is Louisville. I think they're the best team in this conference with the experience, Jordan Warwick coming back. Duke, the highest ceiling. When those freshmen firmly figure it out, they can be a really dangerous team. Cassius Stanley has impressed me most. Carolina needs to figure out where they're going to get offense aside from Cole. Something they maybe figure out in the second half. Virginia defensively, that'll always put them in there behind Kihei Clark, Mamadi Diakite. And then Florida State, the win over the Gators, lets you know again, you can fall off after watching Florida State lose to Pitt, think, oh, this isn't a team. And what they will do is slyly put together a ridiculously impressive resume and go deep in a tournament, because that's what Coach Leonard Hamilton does with his Seminoles.
We've talked a lot about Roy Williams, star freshman, getting the 34, of course, for Cole Anthony in his debut. Trey Jones went for 31 tonight for Duke in that winning effort.
Shame on me for not mentioning Trey Jones. He is one of my favorite college basketball players. Him and Cassius Winston, consummate leaders. Trey Jones, a sophomore. I mean, just impressive to watch his command of the game, dictates tempo, and makes things happen. But we're watching Carolina, so let's get back to this. Early offense in the half court, huge. This team needs to take away all optimism from Gardner-Webb and their belief that they can shock the world tonight. It starts with plays like that.
And that's 2 games in a row where, coming out of halftime, Roy Williams has run a play for Christian Keeling, trying to get him going. And now a turnover. Leaky Black pulls up. Got it. Fast start for the Tar Heels. Their largest lead tonight.
I love the patience from Leaky Black right there. Early on in his first half, they would have tried to jam it to the rim, probably turn it over. Settled, got his feet set, patient, high percentage jumper, and knocks it down.
Jose Perez, again, he was quiet in that first half, just 2 points. And he's off the mark from 3.
Foot on the gas. Keep pushing if you're Carolina. Tire this defense out. They gave you their best punch in the first half. What do they have in the arsenal as an opponent on the road here in the second?
Anthony took the bump, and the foul is on the floor.
Apply pressure, apply pressure, apply more pressure. And that's what Carolina's doing right out of the gates here. Off the curl screen. Good job from Bacot giving the blockade. Keeling knocks it down in transition. Great decision from Leaky Black, a high IQ guy. It's the Swiss Army knife for the Tar Heels, making the right decision.
It's his first points, but again, I know he's a guy you absolutely love on this Carolina team.
Because he understands his identity and what he means to the team. Everyone loves a glue guy.
Bacot got stripped. Roy Williams hasn't been imploring him to go up strong.
Bacot is 6'10". That basketball needs to be 7 feet tall. He should never, on that catch, bring it down. Coach Williams will tell him that time and time again. Keep it high where no one can get it. Gardner-Webb has no 7-footers. That's rare air up there, the conversion rate high.
That's the second foul, by the way, on the front court running mate for Bacot. Garrison Brooks with the 2 now. And he's got the size mismatch on Perez.
Great help defense from Keeling.
Johnson. And the rebound to Black.
Keep running. Keep the foot on the gas. Keep going.
Keeling spots up. Yes!
And you see Coach Williams picking up half court. You're going to get tired of me talking about applying pressure, but that's exactly what Carolina's trying to do. Speed this thing up. See how much gas is in the tank for Gardner-Webb, who gave all they could in that first half.
Shot clock at 8. Perez working on Black. Cornwall, floater. Nope. Killing the rebound. Anthony, a deep one. Too strong. And it stays with Carolina.
Cole Anthony's a volume shooter. I get it. They're not going to give him the red light and say, don't take it. But sometimes, like a move like that, a swing pass, defense is firmly in your face. Capable of making it, so I get it. But sometimes it doesn't hurt with the rhythm you've got to work it around. Try and find a better one.
Yeah, coming into tonight for Cole Anthony, his 48 field goal attempts the first 2 games, the most for any North Carolina player in back-to-back games in the Roy Williams era, now spanning these 17 seasons.
And against Wilmington, 7 of 24 was Cole Anthony. Talking with Coach Williams, he said 24 shots. He only made 7. Clearly, I wanted to make more. We only took 5 bad shots out of the 24, so they were all within the confines of what Carolina's trying to do. So you don't look at him and say high volume, selfish player. He is absolutely not that.
Just got the shot clock squared away, and Anthony off the mark again. Now 1 of 5 from 3.
Found a clean look there, just couldn't convert.
And Roy Williams talked about how in so many categories he graded so positively, even aside from the shot selection and the shot volume he mentioned. Black took it away from Reed. Anthony attacks the rim, and the follow for Bacot.
Leaky Black, the catalyst, getting this Carolina team going. They're rejuvenating teams.
Cole Anthony actually got to the PSA Cardinals when he was 14. The older guys who were there at the time in the program, Mo Bamba and Quade Green.
You know Mo Bamba's real when he's got a song named after him.
That is the benchmark Jordan Cornette hopes to get to someday.
One day.
Nate Johnson and Gardner-Webb still looking for its first points out at halftime.
Bacot with a fundamentally sound block out. Reed with the push off when the shot was delivered. Little things from the freshman big.
The numbers for the two former teammates. Mentioned Perez, the top scorer, who some think will be the Big South Conference Player of the Year. He's only got the 1 bucket. A lot of contact, no foul on the Leaky Black drive. And then the loose ball goes to Gardner-Webb.
Going back to Perez, he hasn't really been aggressive hunting his shot, only 4 attempts. Maybe he can get more aggressive here in pursuit of his own buckets.
By his own admission, doesn't ooze athleticism. Reed can't finish on the inside. Anthony on the step through, off the window. Cole Anthony. ACCN #1 on the women's side. Sabrina Ionescu, she is a walking triple-double. Her Oregon team. Then Jordan Warren, #4 Louisville, hosting Akron. That's a doubleheader coming up next Sunday right here on ACCN and the ESPN app.
Syracuse better bring their hard hat because Sabrina, they just knocked off the U.S. team. Sue Bird, a legend, and a lot of talented women on that team. So Syracuse better come ready to play. It's a talented Syracuse team as well. That'll be a heck of a matchup.
A Syracuse team that loves to play up-tempo. That's what UNC's been trying to do. Garrison Brooks, though, just got tagged for his 3rd foul going over the back. So Bacot replaces him.
I like the idea of pressure here defensively from Carolina.
Gardner-Webb breaks it. Perez tried to go right at Bacot, and now it's Reed who muscles it up. Freshman on freshman. Look at the handles from Anthony. A little bit out of control, perhaps. And it's coming back the other way. Foul goes on Pierce.
Iron sharpens iron. Aggressive defense. How about some aggressive offense? They break the press. Perez didn't know what he wanted to do with it, but Reed gathers the loose ball and connects. They were not surprised and definitely not overwhelmed from the full court pressure in that sequence.
First points of the half for Gardner-Webb. 2 more. There's Perez with his 2nd basket. Guy worked out with some NBA players in the offseason, trying to do more work from the perimeter this year. Keeling short, Pierce the offensive rebound. And now the shot clock reset all the way to 30, so getting situated on the new rule this year.
Last 15 minutes of this game, I have a heavy focus on Justin Pierce, Christian Keeling, and even Leaky Black, and what they can do to help this team out here.
This was what we were alluding to with the shot clock reset. It's going to go to 20 seconds now, and they did get it all situated. But you'd like to see those guys here down the stretch for Carolina.
Yeah, I'd like to see those supplementary pieces pick up things here. You know, that has been very enjoyable to watch this evening, doing the little things, scoring around the basket, running the floor, defending, rebounding. He's defining his role and doing what he's supposed to. How about those other 3 guys as they find their way and their role within this Carolina game plan?
Second foul on Cole Anthony. Yeah, Bacot, number 18 in our ESPN 100 recruiting rankings. He's got 12 points and 9 rebounds.
And he's done it on 8 field goals, converted 6 of them. That is efficient basketball.
Perez loves to post up smaller guards. He's got a couple inches on his old teammate. He gets the roll, plus a foul. Fired up about it.
And again, that was the spacing on the low block from Perez. But watch Bacot. Bacot's got to duck deeper in the lane right there, number 5. That's a shot block, that's a charge, or at least you meet a chest, you have to kick it back out. Look again, number 5 for Carolina, Bacot. He's got to come further down and commit help side defensively. But again, freshman, with repetition, that'll come in a higher understanding of defensive positioning, most especially in the help side.
When you hear coaches talk about a freshman learning the defense, it seems like a throwaway phrase, but that's what they mean, right?
Yeah, and it's also, he might be winded. Sometimes you got to manage yourself. There's load management in college within the game, too, taking a play off. But, yeah, I think that is understanding where to be on the floor.
Freshman to freshman, a turnover. Anthony out of the reach of the big man, Bacot.
But look, I'm going to back off on Bacot because he has truly shined here in his 3rd collegiate game. Carolina has discovered another consistent weapon to go along with Cole Anthony. Who else wants to join the party?
Well, it was a 9-0 start to the second half for North Carolina. Gardner-Webb on a 7-2 spurt here. And Anthony on the sidelines. Terry denied on the drive. And then Keeling with an offensive foul. And it's Jose Perez in the center of it.
Keeling is a little bit out of control here. Oh, yeah, that's not to the favor. Perez, intensity on 10s. A lot of boos. We don't get to see the replay. Absolutely a charge. Love the effort and intensity from Keeling. Got to think it. They've limited those turnovers here in the second half. That one allows Gardner-Webb to hang.
Did you like this half-court trap when North Carolina did it in the first half?
Yeah, they're trying to speed this thing up, take control of the tempo and the pace, because one team loves to play fast and do it for 40 minutes, and that's the Tar Heels.
Bacot on the block.
Right back to him, post repost.
Keeling. Now Playtech adjusts and will shoot a pair. Didn't realize the foul had been called.
High IQ play from Playtech. Struggling with his jump shot, attacks the closeout to get a better one. High IQ play, high IQ sequence.
He was ready to get back on D.
He wasn't listening to the whistle. He wanted the putback. He wanted to get the points. He didn't want to earn them from the free throw line.
Junior from Guilderland, New York, just outside of Albany. And as you said earlier, playing a role more enhanced for him at the start of this season.
And I'm a believer in Playtech. I've also been in that role before. When you go from one season, you're playing 5-6 minutes a game to, oh man, I'm almost playing 30 minutes a game. So there's an adjustment mentally, physically, conditioning-wise, the confidence to understand, hey, take that shot. Coach isn't going to pull you. And that will come with time. But Playtech, very capable, a high IQ player, and an effective shooter once he regains that confidence.
He's got North Carolina up by 10 here, just over 7 minutes into the second half. And a foul by Keeling on the Justin Jenkins three-point try. Third foul on Christian Keeling.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely sold from Jenkins, but he came into that space. You got to allow him to land. Don't love it.
You're not alone. Tim Kraft taking his team here on the road. I mentioned this earlier. He was on staff in 2005, playing here when he was an assistant coach right alongside Chris Holtmann. They were on staff together. And it took a David Noel buzzer beater, a 3 in the final seconds, for a 3-point Carolina win over a good Gardner-Webb team.
Coach Kraft was smiling as he told the story because he loved, even in defeat, that his guys competed to the end. And he's definitely getting that same sort of effort from his guys here in a tough environment.
He said, hey, what do you remember from that game? He says that David Noel 3 hit every single part of the rim before it dropped through.
And it was so quiet at one point, and then Coach said, it got louder than you could ever imagine. I talked to Coach Holtmann today. Very high on what Coach Kraft is doing here with this program. He's very happy that it's in good hands, and he's been very impressed by his former colleague, who's now doing it and taking over the reins. 23 wins last year. First ever tournament berth for the program. You're doing good things there.
Yeah, Chris Holtmann eventually was the Gardner-Webb head coach for 3 seasons.
Coach Holtmann with a big win over Villanova the other day, a blowout win.
Well, I got a foul that comes away from the ball, and they get it on Leaky Black for his second with some hard contact, and it brings up the 1-and-1. With 12:21 left in the second half.
Now this is an advantage Gardner-Webb. The pace, the feverish pace back and forth that Carolina thrives in has been thwarted. A lot of whistles, game slowed down a little bit. Gardner-Webb can start to plug away at the deficit here.
Justin Jenkins has never been a scorer in his 4 years in Boiling Springs, North Carolina, playing for Gardner-Webb. But one of the leaders for Tim Kraft, he now has double figures and a team-high 10. That scored just 3 points combined the first 2 games. The UNC lead was as large as 14. It's now down to 5. Blocking foul call. Did Black extend there?
Felt like the arm bar to create that space. This feels like a for certain charge. Carolina dodges one there. Zone look here from Gardner-Webb, trying to mix things up. Got to flash the high post. Justin Pierce, a capable facilitator there, as is Bacot.
Pierce from the corner. And a foul on the jump shot at this end of the floor, committed by one of your senior leaders in Justin Jenkins.
Well, I'll tell you, they're going to give you 12 minutes to live. He's showing Armando Bacot this sequence of plays over and over again. The big fella at 6'10", 232 is a marvel around the glass. Rim runs, tip-ins, playing with his back to the basket, carving out real estate close to the goal, turn and finish an easy game at that size with that skill set. In only his 3rd collegiate contest, only played 3 minutes in that second one. This man is ahead of schedule and a high-level talent.
And so when you have a size advantage against a Big South opponent, do you want to see more of that down the stretch, more to the big guys when you've been dominating rebounding and points in the paint?
Mike, I want to see that. I want to see this too. I want to see the rebound margin. I want to see the points in the paint. I want to see the team that's more physically gifted flex those gifts. And Carolina, when they win ball games, they will always excel in those categories, as well as transition baskets. Play fast, dominate the trenches.
Remember, before the timeout, Justin Jenkins fouled the 3-point shooter in Justin Pierce, and he makes 2 out of 3. And then the Carolina foul on the rebounding action on Bacot, and North Carolina dealing with foul trouble because you've got 3 guys all with 3 apiece in Keeling, Anthony, and Brooks for Roy Williams.
At this point, it feels like me and you might have picked up a couple fouls over here on the
Jeez, you're not kidding. We have had 15 combined fouls in the 8 minutes and some change here in the second half. And the guys in foul trouble.
Pretty important names there. And I'll tell you, that'll be a storyline that at some point will show its face with foul trouble for Carolina's Cole Anthony. And if he's ever in a game against a truly impressive opponent, how will Carolina answer? So those guys around him gaining confidence as early as possible, critical to the operation.
Wow, tough catch by Pierce in the kick out. Black spinning. Nearly scoring. Pierce follows it up with 2. Cornwall. Got it. Wow, what a silencer that is.
As big a basket as it comes for this team.
And then Playtech answers.
It's a big basket for Playtech to gain his confidence as a shooter.
Perez drives and he's blocked by Bacot. My goodness.
We've got a back-and-forth battle here. Perez with the kick out, the three-point shot, the crowd silent, but not for long. The clapback comes from Playtech beyond the arc. And then the in-your-face disgrace denial in its purest form. Checking IDs at the rim. Armando Bacot.
Showing it on both ends. Nate Johnson playing with some foul trouble as well. Shot clock winding down. Johnson. Got it. Couple of huge threes for Gardner-Webb to just hang around.
The great equalizer in a college game. Something that Coach Kraft has been hoping his team would start to find. That shot beyond the arc.
Keeling around that curl screen you liked earlier from him.
This is a Carolina team being tested here down the stretch. This Gardner-Webb team's not going away.
Cornwall. Not another for Gardner-Webb.
Carolina's got to continue to play fast, continue to play downhill.
Nope. Risky pass into the post by Keeling. Corralled by Carolina, and an easy deuce for Playtech. Perez fighting through a double. No foul called. Pierce. Floater spins out, and it goes back to the Runnin Bulldogs.
And that's okay. You love the discipline defensively from Playtech. How about the intestinal fortitude of this Gardner-Webb squad? Nate Johnson bangs down the three, then the fight for the loose ball. Carolina, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Playtech with the basket.
Where do you go here for Gardner-Webb? You've been knocking down threes. You've also created through Perez.
Drive and kick, just like that.
Foul on the rebounding action goes on. Eric Jamison is first.
And you're starting to see a trend with this defense of Carolina's as they now go one-on-one on the other end of the bonus. But defensively, these guards for Carolina are struggling to keep ball handlers on the perimeter in front. So once you break down a guy off the dribble, you beat that first line of defense, the entire thing collapses, and the world is yours as an opponent. Gardner-Webb, with those drives, they get into the paint, and their shooters have wide open looks.
Pierce misses the front end. North Carolina has struggled at the free throw line these first 3 games. Doesn't drop for Jenkins. Carolina is running. Anthony. Got it. And only had 2 points out of halftime until that one. Back and forth we go in Chapel Hill. Jordan Cornette, what have you liked from Carolina trying to withstand some of these punches from Gardner-Webb?
I like that they continue to compete and continue to stay within who they are. You know what time it is. Back against the wall, Cole Anthony has struggled with his shot throughout the evening. But when the moment calls for it, unafraid, great players are gifted with amnesia. They forget the last miss, and they pursue the next make. And that's a true star, and you're looking at one in Cole Anthony.
The 34 that he had 9 days ago, the most by an ACC freshman in its collegiate debut.
Makes me think of a young man I played with back at Notre Dame in the early 2000s, Chris Thomas, National Freshman of the Year in 2001, came in triple-double in his first performance. That kind of confidence we see in Cole Anthony.
Pierce pried it away. Jamison got it back. Now off a skip pass for Jenkins. Playtech the rebound. Anthony, the contact, and a trip to the line.
Again, those little things that won't show up on a stat sheet, but Playtech. It's why his minutes and his role have increased this season. Understanding the game, the outlet pass to Cole Anthony with momentum in transition. And you can't tell me there's anybody better in a college game at generating a whistle than Cole Anthony. Another comparison reminds me of Carmelo Anthony when he came on the scene in 2003 at Syracuse. Freshmen don't earn the respect of a whistle. You earn that over time in college. Well, Cole Anthony's so savvy at how to initiate that contact. He gets that whistle when he needs it and desires it.
Well, you mentioned his ability to drive. So much attention has gone his way with all the shooting, the three-point makes in particular against Notre Dame. Mike Bray and even Roy Williams have said since this guy is not as if he's only a knockdown shooter. The driving a huge, huge part of his game.
So how do you guard a guy like that when you got to guard him so far out for fear of him banging down a three and is so explosive to blow by and get to the rim? It's a dynamic scorer.
Playtech got greedy. He picks up the foul with Carolina on a 7-0 run at home. ESPN app. First, Duke and Syracuse in Durham, 4 p.m. Eastern. Then, Louisville and NC State in our ACC and primetime matchup presented by Geico. We know what's happening in the Atlantic. Who knows what's going to happen in the Coastal?
I was about to say, if you have solutions in the Coastal, one that can either be won by Virginia, Virginia Tech, or Pitt, please tell me. Because my record pick of the Coastal this year has been abysmal on ACC Network.
Some big games still to come. Pitt, Virginia Tech, Virginia. Can the Cavaliers get first win over Virginia Tech since 2003?
And that's the thing. Everybody likes Virginia to win the Coastal until you remember that Virginia Tech has absolutely dominated them down the stretch. What is it, 15? 15 in a row? It's unbelievable. Sorry to all my Cavalier fans out there. A little dose of reality for you.
Well, here in Chapel Hill, some high-low passing, but a turnover. The pass tough to handle for Garrison Brooks, and that's 15 giveaways by North Carolina.
Garrison Brooks has not really been himself, and it's due to the foul trouble. Hasn't found a rhythm, a consistent performer in the first 2 games of the season. He's passed the torch for this evening to his freshman counterpart, Armando Bacot.
Bacot's still on the bench right now. Shot clock below 10. Jamison falling away over Brooks with a much-needed 2 for Gardner-Webb.
It's a very tough shot over a 6'9" defender with extreme length.
8-point game, 7 minutes to go.
In that zone, got to hit the elbow with Brooks. Then you have openings. Great shot fake.
Floater off the window. Playtech, another loose ball.
Playtech has taken on the role of Leaky Black this evening. I've been saying Playtech's name a lot. Playtech has 8 points. Those are the kind of guys I love to watch. The guys who aren't going to necessarily be the 25-point da-da-da, da-da-da, but the guy who does the little things. That's why Coach Williams has extreme faith in this guy, and that's why the role has been enhanced. He does the little things that are winning plays. Loose balls, outlet passes, will take a charge, get a deflection, make the extra pass. Those are the guys you love to play with on the floor, Mike.
Playtech has said to work to get this opportunity, to carve out this role, the hardest thing in his life, and he's worked his way through that over the course of 3 years.
Stayed the course. A lot of guys don't do that. Oh, it's not coming. I'm going to transfer him to go somewhere else. Coach doesn't know what he's doing. Hard to argue that when Roy Williams is your coach. You stay the course, you get rewarded. Kudos to that young man.
Shot clock at 7. Nate Johnson snakes the double and scores.
Where in the world is the help defense right there? That lane did not have one defender in it as an obstacle, a clear path to the rim. Unacceptable.
Johnson tied for a team high with 11 now.
Got to move it. Easy to guard when that ball's stuck. It's Cole time here.
5 on the clock. Anthony a step back through 2 defenders, and he got it. Wow.
Wow, can that young man erase a bad offensive sequence? Wow.
What did Tim Kraft say to us today? We're so worried about late in the shot clock in particular when it comes to Cole Anthony.
You knew what was coming, Mike. You knew it.
Jamison cannot respond. Foul goes on Jamison.
The rebounding has been superior for Carolina. Speaking of superior, Cole Anthony, ladies and gentlemen, right here. 2 defenders coming at him. Bring on 4, bring on 5, bring on the whole team. That's a confident guy at his best in dire straits. He delivers. It's hard to get the entire bench off their feet. Usually it's 2 or 3 guys that like it. A couple other guys wondering about their playing time or their performance. The entire bench loves what they have in their freshman phenom.
Well, and to circle back to the comments that a guy on that bench made earlier this week, Hubert Davis, he said that Cole Anthony is the best point guard he's ever been around. Plain and simple, period, the end, and he included his NBA time.
Get that man a talk radio show. I mean, that is a hot take you love. But again, Coach Williams had to put that in perspective and say it's only been a few games, but a phenomenal player like Hubert Davis, who started in college, played a high-level pro, and for a long time knows greatness when he sees it. He's identified it in Cole Anthony.
A much-needed role for Jose Perez after Reed had trouble with the catch underneath.
The confidence, such a cool customer. That's what is alarming from Cole Anthony so early. I mean, that's what really stands out.
Nice seal underneath by Pierce and the feed from Brooks. And one of the phrases Roy Williams used with us today in chatting about Cole Anthony, he said he's alpha, beta, kappa. He knows it all when he's between the lines out there, and he's in total control.
Makes it easy to put that trust in a guy like that. He's an extension of your coach, and you know he's managing things on the floor. Coaches are control freaks. They want to have their hand in everything. Even a legend like Roy Williams is hesitant to hand over the keys to somebody, but when that guy is your point guard and when he's as capable as Cole Anthony, it makes it easy to do so.
Now, it was foul number 4 on Cole Anthony with 4:27 left. And Christian Keeling will come get him here. And perhaps somewhat reluctantly, Cole Anthony leaves the floor. .11 game, 4:20 to go. Bacot back into the game. Couldn't get by Reed on the inside.
On the jump stop, you got to charge up, repower, regenerate, and then elevate. Kind of was weak on the jump stops, was fading away. That's when you lean in, lower the boom. Bacot has a boom.
Couple of big-bodied freshmen duking it out on the inside. Shot clock at 5. Winding down on Leaky Black, and he's blocked by Reed.
Glaring illustration of what life is like when Cole Anthony's not in the game. Shot clock winding down.
He's got his number 6 North Carolina Tar Heels on top of Gardner-Webb by 11 so far tonight.
Anthony exudes confidence. As a freshman on the big stage with so many expectations, It's not always going to go your way out of the gate. He took some tough ones defensively. They made it difficult on him. He is the head of the snake. Going back to that confidence, he forgot about those misses and those tough opportunities and continued to be in attack mode for the Tar Heels. And when they needed him most, just under 6 minutes left in the second half, with Gardner-Webb threatening, he bangs down that three and has found himself with 20 points, not on the backboard like he's typically been, but his other freshman counterpart, Armando Bacot. What a performance and coming out party for him in his third game.
Nearly half the team's scoring production, but remember, Cole Anthony's still on the bench. You saw him. Picked up that fourth foul right around the 4:30 mark.
And in reality, this is Bacot's second game because he only played 3 minutes versus Wilmington before injury.
Count the bucket for Gardner-Webb. For Eric Jamison working on the inside. North Carolina near the net on that.
This is a tough finish with the left.
See Bacot go up underneath.
Basket interference when he grabbed the net right there.
Anthony back into the game.
Here comes some pressure defense. You're going to see some traps. Try and get the ball out of Cole Anthony's hands, make other guys operate.
Just keep it filed away as we come down the stretch. North Carolina has not shot it great from the free throw line so far this season. And of course, this is a second half that we have lived in the bonus, the double bonus on both sides.
You don't sound too excited about that, Mike. It's not riveting basketball to any. I totally understand. This has not been the cleanest of games. It's the third contest of the season for both teams. Shaking off a little bit of rust, understanding roles, finding a rhythm. I always talk about November basketball as like a string of bad dates. Like, you got to get through those to find your chemistry, find your vibe, and then it's smooth from there. Well, this is the awkward stage till you figure out who you're going to be as a team and your identity and your vibe.
Dating advice with Jordan Cornette coming down the stretch.
And I'd find that groove. Now I'm a married, happy man. You're the single guy. I feel bad for you.
Kareem Reed walks with it. The freshman with a turnover in a tricky spot for Gardner-Webb.
But you're young and you're charismatic, Mike. You'll be all right.
My publicist beside me. See if North Carolina can milk some clock down the stretch. They go into the post with Garrison Brooks. And a rebound right away given back to Jose Perez and the Runnin Bulldogs. Good hands by Leaky Black. Keeling on the run out. Anthony, the finish.
You know, oh, hops? Yeah, I got those two. An extra step on that man's ladder. How about the chemistry? The eyes connect with Anthony and Keeling, and the rest is highlight history. So let's try to figure out, what can't Cole Anthony do?
Step back three through a couple defenders, finishing off the oop at the other end of the floor.
Special player.
You talked earlier about what you think he projects to be at the next level. Where do you think he fits into that conversation? And granted, the caveat is necessary. It's very early. We're not even through 3 Carolina games yet this year.
He's a combo guard who can score it, who is tough at attacking the rim. Beautiful basketball with the pick and roll. He's got a mid-range game. He's a high-level athlete. Feels like a first pick of the draft to me. But again, a long way to go. But I love what I see.
Hey, The Huddle with Jack Collinsworth, Eric McLean, EJ Manuel, Mark Richt. Getting you set for the weekend slate of ACC games. It gets going tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. That is right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. Hopefully not as chilly as you were on a football Saturday last weekend.
I looked cold, didn't I?
You said it, not me.
I'm an indoor sports guy. You don't have to worry about a winter coat being worn during 40 minutes of basketball. I don't know what these football guys are thinking.
Yeah, you and Boozer are a little bit out of your element in that regard.
Boozer's from Alaska. Like, why are you wearing gloves and a hat?
There's a finish for Eric Jamison. 11-point game. And Cole Anthony draws a foul on Jaheim Cornwall. Remember, this Carolina team, if you include the guys that are injured right now, the Manleys of the world, the Robinsons of the world, and all the guys gone from last year's team, that is 85% of last year's scoring.
It's a lot of turnover. And there's guys on this roster who played decent minutes, but who are being asked to do more. Garrison Brooks, Leaky Black, Andrew Platek. Then you've got guys playing an entirely different level of competition. Justin Pierce, Christian Keeling, Armando Bacot's a freshman. And the injuries, it's a difficult time for Carolina, who's got their best basketball still ahead of them.
13-point game. Perez on the drive and a blocking foul. Count the bucket for Jose Perez.
Got to respect the fight of Gardner-Webb this evening. This team has been unrelenting the entire evening.
If you joined us late, Tim Kraft, the head coach in his 7th season, fresh off taking the program to its first NCAA tournament in program history. They lost a couple of key pieces from last year's team themselves to graduation. David Effiani and DJ Laster, a couple of guys playing abroad, but picked second in the Big South. They actually received the most first-place votes in the Big South. But Perez couldn't stamp a three-point play.
Shot clock winding down. It's a nice option to have right here. Maybe a high ball screen from Brooks. Let Cole make a decision.
He passes to the corner. Off a Keeling miss, Johnson leads the run out. Step through and swatted. Christian Keeling, the eraser. Staggering.
Downright disrespectful.
How about the reaction in the student section? Floater not there for Eric Jamison. Keeling couldn't corral it. Less than 90 seconds to go. Rebound down to Brooks. So a week between games since that last win for North Carolina. Big time test from Gardner-Webb here tonight. And a foul committed by Turner. How about this block one more time? This is 6'3" Christian Keeling.
Christian Keeling not giving up on a play, trailing in transition, and blocked that ball into the 79th row here at the Dean Dome. Somebody stunned.
Looked like our man in the student section got hit with the taser there.
Okay, just to add another weapon in the arsenal of Cole Anthony. 10 of 12 from the free throw line. So you can't foul this guy. He'll make you pay there as well. Here come the reserves.
Roy Williams can empty the bench. There's Ryan McAdoo coming in. Shea Rush, KJ Smith, Walker Miller, and now Robbie O'Han coming in. So 28 for Cole Anthony. And you mentioned the free throw shooting. He was 6 of 12 at the line his first 2 games, 11 of 13 tonight. For Roy Williams, it'll be another win Remember, he's coming up on some milestone marks himself, though he might not want to talk about it on the coaching chart. Last Friday's win pulled him into a tie, you see, with Jim Calhoun, and now within 7 wins of passing 2 legends in Adolph Rupp and Dean Smith.
And you hear in All Access what Coach Dean Smith, the legend, means to the legend in Roy Williams, and that is an honor he will not take lightly, to pass him by in wins.
Shea Rush reigns one, a senior from Fairway, Kansas.
You gotta love it. Smiles all around. That's a together unit. The starters on the bench loving it in celebration.
Largest lead for Carolina comes at the tail end. And North Carolina, after getting a test from Gardner-Webb, improves to 3-0 here at home in Chapel Hill. So Roy Williams passes Jim Calhoun, with 2 more big names coming up next on that list for him.
Yeah, very impressive fight for the Tar Heels to get it done here. Cole Anthony had moments of brilliance, marvel at his ability, but I think tonight will be remembered as the coming out party for the freshman big man Armando Bacot, in really what is only his 2nd game in a Tar Heels uniform. An impressive, efficient double-double, and another weapon and another talented freshman alongside Anthony.
Those 2 led the way. They combined for 40, more than half the scoring for number 6 North Carolina, going up against an NCAA tournament team from a season ago in Gardner-Webb. That wraps things up for Jordan Cornett and our entire ACC network crew. I'm Mike Monaco. Our final score, once again, North Carolina 77, Gardner-Webb 61. So long from Chapel Hill.